The balloons fell and the doors went up as Easttown Mall officially opened today. 25,000 were on hand for the opening ceremonies and to be the first inside the brand new stores. And just as soon as those doors opened, cash registers started ringing.
I just can't believe this place. I've been to a lot of malls, and I just say it must be the best in the whole country.
And while work continued at stores yet to be opened, huge lines formed at those that were.
I'm 99 numbers away, so it won't be long.
There were a few minor problems, and not everyone was exactly thrilled to be at the opening.
Merchants expect the crowds to stay this good for at least 2 weeks. More people will be coming to explore the mall, and others will be coming back to take a second look. After that, they don't expect it to get any worse. They say with a good economy, things should look up for quite some time. They don't expect it to get any worse. They say with a good economy, things should look up for quite some time. They don't expect it to get any worse. They say with a good economy, things should look up for quite some time. They don't expect it to get any worse. They say with a good economy, things should look up for quite some time.
Hi everyone, this is Josh and this is my video tour of the Knoxville Center Mall, formerly known as the Easttown Mall. This mall was opened in July 1984 as Easttown Mall, and it had 4 anchors at its opening: a Miller's, a Sears, a JCPenney's, and a Proffitt's. And as you see going in here, it is very sad and depressing. It is a very dead mall. At the time I recorded this, which it did actually close prior to this recording on January 31st. I went a week before the closing. Not one business was open. There were still two businesses in the store, but they were closed by the time I went here. I think they closed around 6 o'clock and I went at about 7 o'clock. As you can see here, I came in through the southwest entry to the mall. You see the Belk right in front of us, and the mall is divided into 3 sections here. And you'll see, and I'll go down this right side of the first floor first. It is a 2-story mall, but it is divided into 3 sections as we come through here. Now this is the center court, the top of the 2nd floor. Over there you see it on the left side. That is Cade's Cookout. That is where the food court used to be. There was one business in Cade's Cookout, and it was a Japanese takeout, but it did close at the beginning of the month, about 3 weeks before the mall's closing. As we pass by here, you see this escalator. It is off. It's not working. That one comes down. There are 3 working escalators in the mall. There is the one going up in the center court, and then the ones in the former JCPenney wing. There is one that goes up and one that goes down. And I visited this mall about 2 weeks prior to when this was shot, and it was interesting. None of them went down. It was just the one in the center court that went up, and then the one in the JCPenney wing that went up, but none of them went down. And as you see, we will look into just a few of the empty storefronts here. Some of them, it's just pitch black. You can't see a thing. And darkness is another thing about this mall. It was incredibly dark in some areas, not well lit at all. While I do understand that I did come here after dark, you would expect a mall, especially of this size, to still have lights on in most areas to stay well lit. As we come down this way, this is the Sears wing that we're coming up on. There is a dentist down here. It's on the right side over here, right before the Sears. And it had closed in between the 2 weeks I'd last visited and whenever I shot this. The other 2 businesses, they are on the other side of the center court. But this, and I'll try to get a look at it here later on, but you see right here, this is where the Dillards used to be. There was a Dillards. It closed in 2008. They never found another anchor to take that spot, so they walled off that and put a play place in front of it. And as we continue to walk down here, the ones in the little court in front of Dillard's, both of those escalators were shut off, as well as these two you see here on the left side in front of the Sears. Both of those are shut off, and they have signs in front of them. There's also these pretty lights that they have hanging from the ceilings of these little corridors. But as you see, right here on the right side, the Dentacare, that's the dentist that was there, and it had closed probably about 2 weeks before the actual mall closed. In the Sears you see here, it closed on September 2nd, 2018. And here we are, we're walking down the same wing, but we're walking back towards the center court. And you see the escalators there, they are shut off. You can still walk up and down them, but they are turned off. As we walk past this, and we will check out the second floor later on in the video. I took a weird path whenever I was recording this, but I'll just try to keep you informed on where we're at, what wing we're in. But this little center court here in front of where the Dillards used to be, it was very interesting. It was to give, the sort of the mountaineer lifestyle, which is what this mall intended on giving. Here you see inside of the Gilded Gown, it was one of the more successful stores in its later years. They actually had a smaller location right next to this one, and got too big for it and had to move. About the only thing positive that came out of this mall in the last couple of years it was open. Back to the center court here, and we'll get a better look of it here in a minute, but the whole mall itself gives this sort of East Tennessee mountain vibe feel. But it's a lot of fish up hanging from the walls around there. And this was, from articles that I had read, this had been the deadest part of the mall for several years now. And you see as we're approaching the center court once again, which is the Cade's Cookout section. Supposed to be a play on the Cade's Cove, although there's not much of it that's really related to Cade's Cove itself. And we'll look here. At one time this had drink machines in it and snack machines. but ignite hope. Not much hope left here. As we look inside this store, you see some signs that were left behind. There's one inside that window, and then there's another one here in this window coming up here. Big sale. Not going to be able to buy anything. There's nothing in there. As we walk up the steps here, we'll come back on the opposite side of the center court now, Arcade's Cookout. We will look and see some of the businesses, or the empty storefronts. There's a watch advertisement with Eli Manning on it. I did also want to mention that even though the mall did open with a Miller's, a Sears, JCPenney's, and Profits, the Miller's later turned into a Hess's and then a Dillard's. And like I said, that Dillard's, it closed in 2008. And the Sears and the JCPenney were original tenants. They stayed there. The Profits, however, it merged with Belk in the early 2000s. And that location turned into a Belk, and you'll see here as I ride up the escalator, you see I will walk up the stairs here, and we'll see where the Belk used to be in that wing right there. And it's a very small wing there, and the Belk closed on November 16th 2019, and it was their announcement of closure that made the mall decided that they needed to close their doors, although they were still open for over 2 months after Belk's closing. And as you see in here, I believe this is just overstock from the Regal Tuxedo store. And we'll walk down. This is the other part of the wing, and this is, we're walking towards the JCPenney wing here, but this is the University of Tennessee section here, and we'll get a better look at this architecture later on. It's quite beautiful what all they've done with it, but it really does have the East Tennessee mountain theme to it. And you'll see, and this is the in the Regal Tuxedo I talked about, that was one of the businesses still in the mall, and the other one is down here. It's on the left. It's next to the where the Payless Shoe Source sign is, and it's a optometrist place selling glasses and things like that. And here you see it's the Simon Youth Foundation place right there. But as we'll keep walking down here, there is the Knoxville County Schools Adult Education Center. They had a little place rented out over here, and there's this one, and we'll look at it here, but this beautiful mural of all kinds of stuff next to it, and we'll come over here and look at it. But I thought it looked very interesting. There you see it right there. But it looked really, really nice. See, lots of things on there about veterans and things like that. But as we complete this walk to the JCPenney wing, Here you see in the JCPenney's, it was the next to close after the Dillards. It closed on September 17th, 2017 due to declining sales. And here you see, as we'll turn around, you see both escalators are working here. Normally don't see those in dead malls, and especially not in malls as dead as this one, that they still had the escalators working. And we'll see here, and I will get a look in there inside the optometrist, but it was really interesting when I was there, because I filmed this and there was nobody up there, but about 15 minutes after I filmed inside let's see, it's a Lens Crafters, there was this lady and 3 or 4 of her friends. I guess she worked there or something, but she unlocked the front gate and they went in there for about 10 minutes or so. And we knew about them because they were very loud. But then they came out and they left the mall. And you see, this is where the candy used to be, the real sweet. Obviously, they've taken everything out. The Payless Shoe Source. It was their. It was one of the things when they filed for bankruptcy that ended up closing. That was one of the stores that closed at this mall in 2019. Other than the Belk, that they had a lot of other places close. The Mandarin Palace, which was on the first floor where we came in at, it was a Chinese buffet. They closed. CM Games, it was a game store, sort of local rival to GameStop. Bath and Body Works, there was also a movie theater in here. It closed in October 2019. The day that the mall closed, it would close on January 31st. Here you see the Tennessee Designs here, and it's got the whole campus mapped out on the first floor. And then here on the second floor, it's got the big T on it, and we'll get another look at it from the first floor when we go down there. But they've got like a football and a basketball up above the big T. Other places that closed there in 2019 included Perfect Eyebrows, Subway, Burger Stop, Victoria's Secret, the Payless that we seen, the Gilded Gown, Next Level Knoxville. That was a laser tag place down in the Sears wing. And that place used to be a gym, but it turned into a laser tag place, but it closed in May. There was also Hot Topic, Sprint, GameStop, Foot Locker, Spencer's, K Jewelers, and Sarku Japan. And then there's the Oriental Express that I talked about up on the second floor. It was the last in the food court, or the Cade's Cookout, and it closed on January 4th. And you see, now we're walking down the this side of the center court, and we'll see. And this is where the Victoria's Secret used to be, as you can see from the leftovers from the sign. And then the CM Games was next to it. So a lot of the businesses that closed in the past year were here in the center court. And on the other side of the center court is where the food places were. And then if you go on the entrance that leads to the food court, that's where the movie theater was located at. And it, like I said, it closed in October without any prior notice. The workers did not know until they were told, hey, this is the last day. We're not going to be open anymore. So we'll see. That was a look inside of the CM Games. And we'll walk down this way. And this is one of the Great American Cookie locations. You can tell by the design on it and the way the displays are. A lot of them in malls do look like that. And you see, we'll walk past it and look at some of these other places down here. And since there were no businesses, they did take out a lot of the tables and chairs. In this mall, I did talk to the one of the workers in the Regal tuxedo a couple of weeks before I recorded this, and he had said that mismanagement was one of the biggest reasons why this mall closed. It was just mismanagement. The rent was way too high for the amount of foot traffic there was, and and that is unfortunate that it is like that, but the mismanagement had been a part of it for a long time. This mall, it was originally owned and operated by Simon Property Group, and like I said, it was opened in July 1984. It did go under a renovation in 1997. And that pretty much gave it a new outside entrance and new tile paint and trim. And it also gave the current mountain theme. And this is when the mall changed from Easttown Mall to Knoxville Center Mall. But after the renovations, they sold Knoxville Center to their spin-off company, Washington Prime Group. And then it was placed for sale again in February 2016. And it was sold to Knoxville Partners LLC for $10.1 million. But since they have purchased the mall, Knoxville Partners, they have struggled to keep the mall open. And they've often been late with their payments, if they even get them paid. They were also struggling mightily to pay off their loans from the bank. And it was just, and after the Belk announced their closure, then that was pretty much the final nail in the coffin. As you can see, as we finish the go round on the center court of the second floor, and here's another thing where all the electrical things in the ground were, wires and everything like that. They just put wet floor signs over them. So that there is still a hazard there. Alright, here we are. We're going down the second floor of the Sears wing. And it is quite interesting. They do have a wall built right here, but there's doors that you can go through. So you can still access that part of the mall, but there are doors there. I don't really know the reasoning on that. But the doors, and I don't show it here, but I did notice that the wall, it's not even with the rest of the mall. It's at quite a bit of an angle. From a distance, it looks like it's even, but it's actually not. And there's also that hair salon there. All the lights were on in there, but it was closed as well. In this part of the mall, you can definitely tell it is dark. Considerably darker. Again, here you see where the Dillards used to be. And right here is a good look at the trout section. See a bunch of bugs up there at the top. And as we continue our walk down here to the second floor of the Sears, again, none of the businesses were in operation down on this end. I believe now the laser tag place, that was open down here, and it was another, I guess, a smaller type anchor, but it started out as a service merchandise And then once that went bankrupt, it turned into the Rush Fitness Complex, later into a Gold's Gym. It opened up in December of 2018. It's sort of like a esports hangout type place and laser tag, but it did leave in May of 2019 as well. In the comments, the mall did let them out of their 10-year contract. But and we'll get a look at this after we look into the Sears. Now, me and a friend did come down here on their final day of operation, January 31st. And there's a Facebook Live stream of the final hour at the mall. And it's also on my YouTube channel. Just go under the videos and check it out. But all the doors, like the employee entry doors, all of those were unlocked. So my friend did get some pretty good footage going down those hallways, and even got into the laser tag area that was over here. It was, and you see it right here on the right, and it did have this gate, but there's a big hole in it. And the doors over there to where those were actually unlocked, so you were able to sneak in there and check it out. And he did, and there were some interesting things in there, some things that the laser tag people had left behind, such as like barrels and other things like that. So here we are, we're heading back towards the center court, away from the Sears. And there were about 3 other people here whenever I did record. You see one person there on the right side. He was doing Instagram Live there. And he was also there on the last day. And we'll see some of the stores still had lights on and had things in there. But most of them were just pitch black. You couldn't see a thing in there. And I also plan uploading a video from the... I did shoot some stuff aside from the Facebook live stream from the last day. And I plan on compiling all of that together into a video, sort of a last day type thing. So here we are, we're back on the first floor now, and we're heading back towards the JCPenney wing. We already checked out the second floor, but we're now on the first floor of the JCPenney. And again, like I said, there were very limited businesses still in operation here at this mall. Nothing down this wing either was open. Everything was closed. And right here's a good look at the designs and architecture of the Tennessee wing. There were some good quotes on the walls too. But I personally like this more than I do the trout section. And you can see the football and the basketball in the corners there. as we head this way, this storefront was completely empty, but the lights were still on in it and everything like that. And here we are. They have they have things over the JCPenney window so you can't see through them like you can the Sears, and the same thing with the Belk. They had the black paper over it and you couldn't see through it. Here's another optometry place that operated out of this mall, and it closed, I believe, in 2018. It closed, but now we rounded the JCPenney here on the first floor, and we're going to head back towards the exit here. You see there were two other people there. Yeah, those two people and the fellow that was doing the Instagram Live, those were the only other people in this mall when I came here. I did shoot some footage on the last day. There were considerably more people, I guess for nostalgia's sake, that were here. Probably about 30, 35 people here. And this is the old Sci-Fi City location. It was a huge location to not be an anchor store, because it carries on all the way down here past the bottom of the stairs here. And here we're going to look at the architecture of the design on the floor of the first floor, which is the entire map of the University of Tennessee in 1997. A lot of neat things. It is an incredibly huge campus. Lots and lots of students go there. You see Neyland Stadium there too. But here, and you can tell really how dark it is, especially in this point. You know, the first floor is extremely dark. And it was also interesting, on the last day, they had more lights on the second floor. The first floor still looked like this, but the second floor, they had a lot more lights on until about 8:30 or so. Then they slowly started turning out the lights to where about 5 minutes to close, the second floor of the Sears was pitch black. They had all the lights off. As we look through that storefront there and look back at the first floor Belk there. And this is just a first floor, pretty much 360 degree view of what is left. And I just want to thank you for watching this video. And I found it very interesting. I just find dead malls interesting. You know, and this one is deader than dead. But yeah, and I got inspiration from Dan Bell to go and do this because it was close to where I live, about an hour away. And so I know I'm not the greatest at it, but it's I hope you do like it. And yeah, any comments or questions or anything like that, just leave them in the comments.